Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the BFS Fishing Channel. And in this video, we're going to be going over kind of a successor video or follow-up video or an evolution of a video that I made last year, which I called the BFS Buyer's Guide or the Battle of the Budget. This year, there's been so many new reels that I didn't really want to make multiple videos for different price points. And so I'm just going to make one video to kind of cover everything in terms of BFS reels that are available on the market right now that I think are very good choices. And so we're going to break this up into a couple categories. The first category is going to be the $1 to $50 range. Second is the $51 to $100. And then the third, $101 to $150. And I think you can see kind of a trend here. The last one is going to be $151 and above. And we're gonna talk about the reels that I think are quite interesting in these price points. I'll have some honorable mentions. I do want to say, and I do want to let you guys know that you got to take all of this with kind of a grain of salt because these are my personal opinions. I may not cover every single reel that you think deserves a spot on this list. And so if I missed any, please go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. And I'd be more than happy to talk to you about, maybe I missed something or, why I didn't include that. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and start off with the first price point. I will put chapters in the description down below. And also I will put little infographics at the very top of the screen so that you guys can see all the specs for all of these reels. And if there's any kind of video review that I've made for them, I'll put a little card in the upper right-hand corner, but I'll also put links in the description down below. And also, you can go ahead and check out the BFS Fishing List Google spreadsheet document that I made. It's a really good resource. It's not 100% complete. It's going to be a work in progress. Just finding time to kind of fill out that list is a challenge for me right now. But anyways, let's finally get to the first reel. Sorry for talking so much. And the first reel in this $1 to $50 price point category is going to be this reel right here. This is the Seasir CAST-X. I'll put the review there and info there. The reason why I choose this reel as the first reel in this category is because of the price and because of what you get for the reel. I believe it's still coming in at around just over $20. And for that price, you get quite a bit of bang for your buck, essentially. The reel is not perfect. It is an ABS frame and, it's a relatively long handle. It's meant more for, 3 grams and above. It's kind of a reel that they retrofitted into a quote unquote BFS reel by just making it a shallow spool. But for around $20, you get quite a smooth reel and it casts pretty darn well. So if you're looking for a cheap reel or a beater reel that you just want in the back of the boot, you can't really go wrong with the CAST-X. The one caveat is that I don't know that Seasir is continuing to make this. Sorry, I'm a little sick, so you're going to have to bear with me on that. They did make and release a newer updated version to this, which is not going to be a BFS oriented version of the CAST-X. But if you can find this BFS version, then for $20 or around $20, I don't think you can really go wrong. So that's my first choice. Okay, the second choice is kind of be a kind of a family or class of reels, and that's what I consider the Dark Wolf 100 size BFS reels. And so that's going to be reels like this Soloking GKA 200 and then also this BMC 100. There are going to be other reels that I think should and deserve a spot in this, but I don't have those reels on hand. And so that's going to be the Seasir Commando. The Seasir Commando is basically going to look like your BMC 100, but in a silver color, very similar to the Soloking Acura. So there's a couple caveats, and the BMC actually doesn't really belong in this kind of group anymore because Soloking has kind of increased the price on this reel. And I'm not really sure why they did that because at the previous price point of around $35, it was a great buy. But now I think it's a much higher than that. And so this reel does not deserve a spot on the list. The GKA 200 though, with the shallow spool definitely does because you can pick this up for around $30. Very similar to the Seasir Commando. This is not the original handle. This is a Daiwa Tatula handle that I've actually just put on here because I like and I prefer these TPR knobs. You get EVA foam knobs with the GKA 200, but it comes in a variety of gear ratios, and it gives you a deep spool and a shallow spool option. And so if you use the shallow spool, then it essentially turns this into a 100 size reel. So the GKA 200 with the shallow spool is one of my picks. And then from what I've heard, and I've heard very, very good reviews, and people speak very highly of the Seasir Commando, that is another solid choice for one of these 100 size reels. These reels are going to be casting anywhere from around like 2 to 2.5 grams and above. And so I don't have a review on this or the BMC 100, but I will put a card to the Seasir Commando review by a fellow YouTuber, the Constant Angler. He's got some really good videos on the Seasir Commando, and so I'll link those up there, as well as information for the GKA 200, because that kind of fits into the whole category here. The next family of reels are going to be the Dark Wolf Ultra or 50 size versions. And I gotta say, there's only one reel that kind of stands out to me in this category or class, and that's the Soloking Acura Pro. And the reason for that is because this is still the only Dark Wolf Ultra variant that has moved to an updated version where they now provide a shallow spool. So this shallow spool is very different from the long shaft version, which is in the older Acura, and also the other Dark Wolf Ultra variants. So that's like the Kingdom Micro Monster, the Black Knight 2, the Bear King Zeus, and there's going to be other ones that I'm not, remembering off the top of my head. But the main difference is that this one is 1 gram lighter than this spool. And so because of that, you're actually able to cast under 1 gram lures. So they've not only updated the spool, but they've updated some of the bearings to saltwater resistant bearings. So that is pretty nice. They did go down 1 bearing on the total count, and I'll have the information up there, which is kind of a shame. But, I think for that extra durability, it's a pretty good choice for them. And so for that reason, I think the Soloking Acura Pro, when it's on sale and under $150, is a great choice for this price point category. The other honorable mentions are going to be any one of those Dark Wolf Ultra variants. So again, like the Genius, that's one of them that I forgot. The Genius, the Dark Wolf Ultra itself, the Elf, the Micro Monster, the Bear King Zeus. I've heard very good things about the Bear King Zeus. Those, you can't really go wrong if you're not casting under 1 gram, and you can find them cheaper than the Soloking Acura Pro. Then I highly suggest you go out and grab one of those if you're looking for a cheap reel to cast the lower lure weights. Okay, so then that's going to cover the $1 to $50 category. Very crowded in that category. The next category is going to be the 51 to 100, and unfortunately, there's no reel that actually fits into this that's not on sale. In order to kind of shoehorn reels, I had to basically go out and find reels that were on sale and then kind of fit into this price point. And so the 2 reels that I found are going to be basically the Haibo Arise Air and the iFishband Clamber 2. Now this one retails for $102, but on sale, at least at the 11/11 sale, you were able to find this, I think, under that $102 price point. And then the Arise Air, I was able to actually find this for as cheap as $92 shipped on the 11/11 sale. Unfortunately, of these two, the Clamber 2 is not making the list, and the reason why is because the internals are not really what I consider to be up to snuff. If you want to find out more about this, I'll put a video up here showing you the teardown of the reel and what I found. And the reel casts very, very well, but I just don't understand some of the manufacturing choices. The Haibo Arise Air, on the other hand, is a very solid performing reel and very well built. It does have some downsides in that I am not a fan. Well, this is personal preference, but I'm not a fan of these handle knobs. And so you can easily swap those out for something like a Gomexus handle, which is only like $15, or I think AliExpress has quite a few handles that are very, very affordable, around like $5 to $10. The other downside to this reel and its sister reel are going to be the fact that in order to make huge adjustments to your brake settings, you know, if you're going from like the very low end, so 0.5, 0.6 grams, all the way up to the high end, you're going to have to take off the side plate in order to adjust this adjustable rotor system to increase your braking effect. I didn't really like that, and I still don't really like that. But you know, if you've got the money, then maybe you can buy more than one of these and have two setups, one for the low end and one for the higher end. That being said, I was able to cast with this reel on rotor setting 1, which is the weakest brake setting, all the way from 0.5 grams all the way up to 7 grams. So, you know, really the only other setting that you need is maybe rotor setting 2, unless, you know, you're a little bit more new to casting and whatnot. But a very solid pick, the Haibo Arise Air. Oh, I do want to add that the Arise Air will get the new updated revised main gear set, but right now, as far as I know, only Dankung has that, and Dankung is charging a little bit more than what you can find this for if you were to find it on sale on AliExpress. So I think they're selling it right now for like $128-ish. And at that price point, I don't know. I think maybe going to the Arc Gravity might be your best bet. Anyways, so unfortunately, the $51 to $100 range is not very, very packed, but let's move on to the $101 to $150 range. And again, we see only two real contenders here, and those are going to be the Arc Gravity BFS and also the iFishband Tendershoot reel. Both of these reels are like the other reels, are going to be slightly... There's pros and cons to them, I guess, is a nice way to say it. So you guys know and recall what I talked about for the Arise Air, but the difference is that the Gravity has that new updated main gear set, and it makes it much, much, much smoother than the Arise Air. So, and then you do get these newer TPR style handle knobs, which are really great. They're very comfortable. So a really solid reel at $149.99 though. I feel like it's a little bit on the higher side in terms of price. I would love to see this reel on sale. That might bring it down to like 135-ish. And at the 135, I would say that this is a really, really good deal. But, you know, it's a brand new reel. They just released it on their website. And so I don't know that there's going to be any big sales on the reel anytime soon. The next reel is going to be the iFishband Tendershoot. Now, this is also a very, very good performing reel. Both of these reels cast down to 0.5 grams, which is under what they report. And then they're rated up to 10 grams. So I'm not 100% sure if, you know, I don't really test the absolute higher end of the lure weight range spectrum, but the Tendershoot is a very solid performing reel. It is not perfect. It is a reel that is made to fit a price point, and you know, you can tell where they needed to make some sacrifices in order to make this reel fit into that price point. The reel is also not without its own design, or I guess manufacturing issues. As you know, the ball bearings and the handle knobs on the first couple of reels were actually bushings. They've since rectified that issue. I have heard of one other issue that a user on the Facebook group had, and that was with the spool. And so if you notice here, the inductor plate on their particular reel actually fell off, and this was not under heavy use or anything like that. And so they reached out to Dankung, and Dankung was kind enough to notify the factory and also send them out a new spool that is reinforced. And so all reels coming out of Dankung, at least, are the newer updated models. And if you have any issues with your reel, please, please, please go ahead and contact your vendor. I don't know that they'll preemptively replace the spools for you guys, but if you do have issues with that magnetic induction plate, then please go ahead and reach out to the vendors that you bought it from, and hopefully they will take care of you. All right, so that takes care of the $101 to $150 price point. Both of these reels are great performing reels, but they're not 100% perfect. You know, no reel is actually 100% perfect. All right, moving on to the 150 and above. And there's only one CDM option here, and that reel is going to be this reel right here. This is the FFF Tackle FF01 Kingfisher reel, and you can find this on sale at NACO Shop for right around $169. I believe they do sell it also on Amazon through their Amazon store, but this reel has impressive, impeccable build quality. I mean, I've never seen a paint job, aside from the fact that it's really, really bright, I've never seen a paint job that's more durable than this one. I have used this quite extensively and it still hasn't scratched or chipped anywhere, whereas the vast majority of the other reels, they all bear some, signs of use, essentially. But the reel is rated down to 0.6 grams, I believe, or 0.8 grams, something like that. 1/32nd of an ounce. But I've actually used it to cast 0.5 gram lures, and so it does cast extremely lightweight lures. And then they rate it all the way up to 10 grams. There is a new version called the Cormorant, which is going to be a jet black one. I did see the price on NACO Shop, and it is going to be considerably more, but you do get a drag clicker, and you apparently get a revised main gear set that is supposedly coated and stronger than this one. But this one is still $169, and if you really want to retrofit yours with a drag clicker kit, you can. It does take a little bit of technical know-how, and if you're interested in learning how to do that, I would suggest going over and looking at the Multi-Species Anglers YouTube page or Dr. Paul Gaskell Fishing Discoveries YouTube page, and I'll have links to those videos in the description below for you if you're interested. But this is going to be the first entry into the 151 to above price point, and I really am very fond of this reel. Okay, so let's move on to an even higher spectrum of price points. And now we're getting into the Japanese or JDM reels. And I gotta mention this reel right here. This is the 2022 Shimano Aldebaran BFS. This is kind of a staple by now. Everybody knows this reel. You can see that I've modded mine quite significantly. They are being sold in the US market now, but the price point is very high. So if you don't want to spend as much, go over to, a Japanese retailer site like Digitaka or JDM Tackle Heaven or plant.co.jp and see if you can't find what's called a gray market item. So it's sold in an international market. It doesn't come with a warranty, but you will find this reel for significantly less than the US version. I think you can find it for around $280 on those other Japanese sites, whereas the US price is going to be somewhere around $400 to $450. So there's a real big, significant price difference there. But a very solid reel, and the Conquest BFS is going to be another reel that I don't have, unfortunately, but the internals are virtually identical, cast very well, and is exceptionally made, but it's going to be a lot more than the Aldebaran BFS. So that is another reel to consider. And then we've got this. This is probably hands down my most favorite reel of the year, but it's also one of the most pricey reels of the year. And this is the Daiwa SS Air TW. And the reason why I think this is probably my choice for BFS Reel of the Year, my number one choice for BFS of the Reel of the Year, is because of the simplicity of the use of the reel. The reel's ergonomics are really good. The reel smoothness is really good. I would say that there's some other reels that are slightly smoother than this, namely the Daiwa Millionaire and also the Shimano Aldebaran, kind of different kinds of smoothness. But, Daiwa reels are in their own right very, very smooth. And I don't know, with this new braking system, they just made it so that it's a very, very easy to cast reel that is not heavily overbraked. And yeah, I've just been very, very impressed with the casting distances you get out of this reel, and I can't really speak more highly of it. I did do reviews on this reel, so if you're interested in those, I do have videos there, and I'll put the card up in the upper right corner. But this reel is a very, very solid reel if you've got the money to burn. There are other Daiwa reels that I didn't really mention, and that's because I don't have them. And those two reels are going to be the Daiwa Gekabijin, which is around probably the $200 price point on sale, and then also the Daiwa Silver Creek, which is also going to be found for about the same price when it's on sale. Now, those two reels are going to be a little bit different. The Silver Creek is for short distance accuracy casting for like streams and creeks and rivers and freshwater applications. And the Gekabijin is more geared towards ajing or saltwater distance casting of ultralight lures. So, choose what you need out of those two reels, but those are also very good solid picks for this price point. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. What did you guys think? Here are all the entries that I've got. Did I miss any reels that you guys think deserve a spot in this list, or was it pretty accurate? If you guys have comments, please go ahead and list them in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think and love to chat with you about why you think maybe some of these choices were right or some of your choices were wrong, or maybe I missed something. With that being said, if you liked the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you didn't, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. If you have any questions, comments, please consider leaving a comment down in the comment section down below. I do my best to answer each and every one of your guys' comments. I love talking with you guys about all of this, about all of these reels and fishing in general. And I really appreciate your guys' time and patience with watching these videos. I realize that there's a lot of information to be packed down into these videos and they can get a bit on the long side, but thank you so much for watching. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.